In March of 2016, the first iPhone SE launched as a value-packed iPhone with upgraded specs in the well-beloved form factor of the iPhone 5S. This was a big success for Apple, and today, with the third generation SE recently released, the value-packed iPhone is still striking a chord with consumers everywhere. In today's video, we will take a look at my current daily driver, the second generation iPhone SE, released in 2020. We're going to see how it's held up over the last 2 years. But for now, let's talk tech. I'm Arnell with Ardently Tech. On this channel, we talk all things tech, with videos of product reviews, tech hacks, tutorials, and more. Tech was here to make our lives easier, and we're here to help you understand it all. Make sure to subscribe if you're a tech lover or if you just want to learn more about it. Today, we're going to look through the second generation's specs, camera, screen resolution, form factor and size, performance, the accessories that are still available for it, and, most importantly, the price if you're looking to pick one up yourself. Also, quick note, any products listed in this video will also be listed down below in the description with affiliate links to help support our channel. The specs on the second generation iPhone SE include a 4.7-inch Retina HD display, A13 Bionic chip, Touch ID, no Face ID, IP67 water resistance, 12 megapixel rear camera with portrait mode, more on that later, 7 megapixel front facing camera, 4K video recording, 13 hours rated battery life for video playback, more on that later for sure, and fast charging is also available. With plenty more features to boot, it's important and probably simpler to just look at this iPhone as basically an iPhone 11 Pro in terms of performance in an iPhone 8 body. Real-world usage today in 2022 is more or less great. Apps open relatively quick and snappy, with the occasional lag, especially when opening the camera app for the first time. My biggest gripe, honestly though, is the battery life. It has been either degraded substantially or the specs that Apple listed on their website were just not that realistic. In terms of battery life, my usage today really consists of checking emails, going through text messages, doing about 20 to 30 minutes of YouTube, and social media scrolling. Doing that same amount of phone usage every day usually nets me from waking up in the morning to about 2 to 3 in the afternoon, my phone is already hitting low power mode. At that point, I have to fully charge it just to get me from the afternoon into the evening. And then, of course, plugging in overnight. So overall, I really can't get through a full day of usage on the phone without me needing to have the charger with me. For some people that you have a charger with you at work, like myself, it's not really a big deal to just plug it in when I'm at my desk. Or if you're at home, obviously you have chargers there. So if you have a charger near you, it's probably not that big of a deal. But honestly, it can be kind of a pain, especially if you're out with family all day or if you're vacationing or whatever. You just don't have chargers with you that accessible. So that's one thing that I really want to point out of how the iPhone is holding up over 2 years. Moving on to what I consider a huge highlight is the camera. The 12 megapixel rear camera and the 7 megapixel front facing camera. The fact that we have 7 megapixel front facing cameras in 2-year-old phones in today's age blows my mind. I remember when we were still on the struggle bus with 1.2 megapixel cameras. The pictures come out crisp and clear, brilliant colors, and the advanced bokeh feature on the portrait mode still elevates every single picture that I take with very minimal effort on my part. The bokeh feature on the portrait mode on the iPhone does a phenomenal job of really elevating the pictures of your favorite human. Now, notice that I said human there, because the bokeh feature on portrait mode on this particular iPhone only does portrait mode on people. It only recognizes people, does not recognize pets or objects of any kind. Keep that in mind. If that's not really a big deal for you, then you'll have a phenomenal time with this camera, even for the most casual of smartphone users. Screen resolution is great. Not much to say here. With a resolution of 1334 by 750, achieving 326 pixels per inch. On paper, it doesn't sound that impressive since realistically, videos can only hit 720p. However, with a screen this size, it still comes out crystal clear and text is as crisp as ever. Now, does it really stand up if you're holding it under a microscope? No. But why are you looking at your iPhone through a microscope?
NANI?
The iPhone SE's form factor in the body of an iPhone 8 means that it's incredibly comfortable in the hand for most individuals and even fits in the pockets of most people. Unless you're a member of the New Boys.
You're a jerk.
All four corners of the screen can be reached relatively easily, and in case you need to, you can always double tap the home button and that'll bring the half of the screen down so you can reach anything at the top of the screen without even reaching that far. Speaking of the home button, the home button features Touch ID, which is personally something I prefer over Face ID. Having a physical home button is far more intuitive to me than the all-screen newer iPhones. While they look significantly sleeker and better from an aesthetic point in my opinion, nothing beats having an actual button to click to get to your home screen, unlock your phone, or pay with Apple Pay. Face ID does allow you to unlock your phone and use Apple Pay just as quick, if not quicker, but it's just a personal preference. My iPhone is running the newest version of iOS at the time of filming this review, which is 15.4.1. Still buttery smooth and minimal lag, if any at all. The occasional stutter when opening the camera app that makes you miss that sudden picture that needs to happen right away before you miss your chance will only make you go crazy about once a month or so, since that's about how often that happens, but it does happen. Reports are showing that this generation iPhone SE will actually continue to get supported up until at least 2025, potentially even more. So if you're looking to pick this up, Apple will certainly not forget about you when they're doing their updates for their iPhones. Real quick, if you're finding value in this video, consider subscribing and dropping a like and a comment down below. It lets us know that you like this content and that you want to see more. Now, back to the video. For the accessories for the iPhone, I've got to say we are certainly covered. The third generation iPhone SE that was recently announced is actually following the same body that the second generation has. So that means with a brand new iPhone, there's still plenty more cases, protective cases, lightning port adapters, and back to cases, more cases with MagSafe technology built into them. Speaking of MagSafe, check out our recent video on MagSafe accessories in the ad card above. In that video, we go over top 5 MagSafe accessories under $100 that you might find some value in and some really cool ideas that you might not have even known about. Lastly, the price. You can find this iPhone SE second generation right now on Amazon's website for about $200 brand new. Apple actually doesn't sell these directly on their website anymore. They might still have some stock at your local Apple store, however, that's kind of hit or miss because it's all dependent on what they have in stock at their store. Compare that to buying a brand new iPhone 13, which starts at $800. Now, the only reason I'm comparing these two is if you're the type of person who needs to upgrade their phone, but you're not sure if you want to go with a pretty decent budget alternative phone, or if you're looking at buying just a brand new mid-range current model phone. Now, let me know if you're that type of person, if you're even considering those two models, or if you're considering the second generation versus the third generation, because there are certainly some upgrades there. However, I'll leave that up to you to determine if that's worth it. So, will I be upgrading the iPhone SE anytime soon? Honestly, probably not. This phone has been incredibly reliable, durable, and useful in my everyday tasks as a dad. I love knowing that this phone is relatively cheap, so I'm not too concerned about it if one of my kids is using it to watch YouTube or to play games on it. After all this time, I've got to say, do I love the iPhone SE? I do. I think it's a really good phone, with the battery issue really being my only major gripe. Now, there are those occasional stutters with like opening the camera app, like I said, so it's certainly not perfect in that regard either, but for the little money that I actually spent for this phone, I've got to say, it's not that bad. It's a really good alternative, and you really get your money's worth. Now, when I am looking to upgrade the phone, will I go with another SE? Possibly. The difference between the iPhone SE second generation and the third generation just isn't enough to really make me want to move forward with getting another SE. Now, if the 4th generation that comes out in 2 years or whenever has enough upgrades that really make me warrant wanting to get another SE, maybe. But if I need to upgrade my phone before that 4th generation comes out, and if it doesn't really have that good of new upgrades, I might just go for a mid-range model like the iPhone 13. Or even last year's model, the 12 Pro, something like that. So anyways, guys, that's my thoughts on the iPhone SE 2nd generation. Has it held up in 2022? I've got to say it certainly has, but not without its faults. So thanks for watching, appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.